We are glad to welcome you to our channel. Kindly subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and relations. And click on the bell icon for instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Rest assured that we are going to have a very exciting and inspiring discussion. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Hello friends. In today's lesson, we are going to look at the top rules for pronouncing ED endings. You will learn in this lesson 3 ways to pronounce the ED past tense marker in regular verbs. I am Benjamin from English Classes Online. Let's dive into it without further ado. First, a quick look at the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to do the following. 1. Explain the use of the ED past tense marker. 2. Explain the rules for pronouncing the ED past tense marker. 3. Give copious examples of how each rule is applied to English regular verbs. Now, the use of the ED past tense marker. Let's look at it. The past tense is a very important aspect of English grammar, and the most common way to form the past tense in English is by adding ed to the base form of the verb. There are 3 different ways to pronounce the final ed at the end of past regular verbs, and it is important to learn how to pronounce it correctly. That's the focus of this lesson. So in this lesson, we will go over each of these rules and give you plenty of examples to help you master the proper pronunciation. Rule number 1. If the verb ends in a voiceless sound, the ed ending is pronounced as T. You see, if the verb ends in a voiceless sound, the ed ending is pronounced as T. Okay? Now, the first rule for pronouncing ed endings is that if the verb ends in an unvoiced or voiceless sound, such as a voiceless consonant sound, including the sounds P, K, F, GH, CH, SH, SS, C, or X, Now, then the ed ending is pronounced as T. You see, that's exactly what usually happens. Let's look at some examples. Walked. You see, walked. The actual transcription here is walked. Walked. Okay. Now let's look at walked. WALKT. That's the transcription. Walked. See? Then you have laughed. You can see the transcription here. This ed is pronounced as T. Laughed. Okay? Then you have kissed. Kissed. Watched. Watched. Washed. Washed. Hissed. Hissed. Now take note of the T, 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 t at the end. representing the ed past tense marker there. Rushed, rushed. Missed, missed. Now, as you can hear, the ed ending in these verbs is pronounced as t because they end in an unvoiced sound. Now, what we mean by unvoiced sound? When you look at walked, the last consonant K is a voiceless consonant. K, walk, k, k, k. All right. Now, when you pronounce the sound k, k or K, there is no vibration in the voice box. If you hold or place your hand on your Adam's apple, that's your throat, a voiced sound, when produced, will vibrate. You will make your Adam's apple, that's your throat, that lump on your throat, there will be vibration as you place your finger on it. But if it's a voiceless sound like K, 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 there's no voice in there. But if you look at a word like D, 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 you see, so you can see that it is there is a vibration there. So once the if the verb ends in an unvoiced sound, that is a voiceless consonant sound such as P, K, F, and so on, then the ed ending is pronounced as T. That's what we have seen here. Then the next one, rule 2, if the verb ends in a voiced sound, the ed ending is pronounced as D. You see, take note, if it ends in a voiceless sound, the ed ending is pronounced as T. But this rule number 2 says that if the verb ends in a voiced sound, the ed ending is pronounced as D. It might interest you to know that T is voiceless and D is voiced. So you can see, the correlation. Now let's look at some examples. But before then, you can see examples of voiced consonants. B, that is B, G, L, M, N. All right. Then you have R, V, Z. Now all these are voice sounds. B, G, L, M, N, R, V, Z, or Z. These are all voiced consonants. So if a verb ends in such a voiced sound, then the ed ending is pronounced as D. Let's look at examples. Played, played. You see, played. Tend, tend. Called, called. Hugged, hugged. Take note of the D, which is the sound that represents the ed past tense marker. Then you have opened, opened. Answered, answered. Explained, explained. As you can hear, the ed ending in these verbs is pronounced as D because they end in a voiced sound. Rule number 3, if the verb ends in T or D, the ending is pronounced as id, that is id. Okay, now let's look at examples. Now don't forget that if the verb ends in T or D, then the ed ending is pronounced as ed. Ed. Examples: waited, waited, wanted, wanted, hated, hated, loaded, loaded, needed, needed, faded, faded, added, added, divided, divided. As you can hear, the ed ending in these verbs is pronounced as ed because they end in T or D, T or D sound. So that is rule number 3. Okay, now summing up the 3 rules at a glance. We want to look at the 3 rules at a glance. Rule number 1, you have T ending, okay, and rule number 2, D ending, and rule number 3, ed ending. Let's look at the examples. Laughed, laughed. That's rule number 1, ending in T. The T representing the ed. Then rule number 2, played, played, D representing the ed ending. And then rule number 3, waited, waited, id or ed representing the ed past tense morpheme. Then you have other examples. Kissed. Let's first look at rule number 1, then we run down rule number 3 and then rule number 3 respectively. So we have kissed, watched, washed, missed. All right. So then rule number 2, we have played, turned, called, opened, explained. Rule number 3, we have waited, hated, loaded, needed, and faded. You see, for infinitives ending in a voiceless sound, that's where we pronounce ed as T. For infinitives ending in a voice sound, that is when we pronounce the ed as D. And then for infinitives ending in either T or D sound, that is where we pronounce the ed ending as ed or id. So these are the rules, and this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comments section below. See you in the next class. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. see you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video.